scrying, doesn't seem very interesting to them, even though it's like this weird like topic of conversation that comes up a lot. Um, a lot of people are looking for practical stuff, like they want like a new car, a new house, they want money, they want to raise, they want that girl. Um, but scrying is really useful because it enhances your psychic abilities, your ability to be passive and receive information. There's like a tendency that we have, especially in the West, that we're constantly projecting. We're projecting like what we think someone's going to say when someone's talking to us. We're sitting there, we're listening to give the right answer. And all of those things are counterproductive to being a good magician. All right. There are times when we project our will, but we also need to be receptive enough to perceive the subtle messages that we're getting from spirits. And the more receptive we can be, the more information is available to us. So that's why scrying is important. Okay. And I also hear a lot of people complain, like, I can't see spirits, I can't hear spirits, this and that, mostly because of Hollywood notions on what they think that's supposed to be like. Or sometimes there's very exceptional people like my godfather, who's now deceased, Gene Kent. That man heard spirits like a voice in his ear. He told me, and they would tell him things all the time that like there's just absolutely no way he could know certain facts without a spirit whispering it into his ear. But everybody's got different talents. For me, when I hear the spirits, it's like an internal voice that's taking place. Like I have like my thoughts here, my everyday thinking, the normal noise, maybe a song going through my head. I have like the information I'm trying to search through, like memories going on here, and then like way down here, I can hear the spirit talking. But the only way that's possible is to relax myself and um, allow myself to become perceptive of that voice. Other ways that communication with spirits can happen is through dreams, doing divinations like reading shells or cards or whatever divination you fancy. I want to say this real quick, there is no superior form of divination. None. Does not exist. Okay? It's the diviner that matters. IFA is a great system, and a lot of people talk about IFA because it's binary and can give seemingly concrete answers, but IFA is only as good as the diviner that's interpreting it. Okay, it's the same thing with Obi, Chamalongos, and all of that stuff. Tarot can be great and can give you a lot of details, but if you're just picking up a book to read each page, like, oh, this card means, oh yeah, you're gonna get hit by a bus. Well, I'm kidding. It can limit your ability to receive messages. Now, with scrying, and why it's a very good exercise to do regularly, is you learn how to quiet those parts of your mind and focus on subtle imagery and subtle messages. And the next thing you know, things will just start popping into your head that weren't there before. So, that's why I decided, what, hey, let's show people how to scry. I talk about this a little bit in my blog. I go into some detail about it. And I'm going to post these invocations in that earlier post in the comments section so that you guys will have access to those invocations. Now, before I go any further, I want to be very clear, okay? This is Golden Dawn magic, right? It's very formulaic, it's very structured, and not everybody's going to gel with that, okay? Some people like things to be a bit more freeform or impromptu. I personally don't think that being overly impromptu with magic is a particularly good idea. We want to think before we act, because it's like a butterfly effect. You might think like, I'm pissed at that person, I'm going to hit them, and that person's a coworker, and or your boss, and you hit your boss, and suddenly you find yourself out of a job. Okay. So we want to we don't want to be super impulsive. We don't want to just be shooting from the hip all the time. We want to do things from an informed perspective, and that's how we gain wisdom. All right. We get the knowledge on how to do things, and the wisdom comes through informing ourselves and making informed actions. Okay. So, all right, in the Golden Dawn, they have these grade, what they call the ceremonies, the grades, they're initiations, okay? The first initiation that people go through is the neophyte initiation. Neophyte means freshly planted. So it's the very first initiation. It has no elemental associations. It's just a ceremony to get someone's foot through the door, okay? Now, the second initiation that they would do would be what they called Zelator. And it was the first of 10 initiation of the 10 real initiations. Well, you'd only go through 6. You couldn't do those upper initiations because supposedly human consciousness can't cross the abyss between man and God. So I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I studied this stuff so intensely for years. Okay, so the formulas that I'm about to give you comes from the Zelator ceremony, which is to integrate the element of earth, to connect you on the tree of life, to Malkuth, to balance this energy in yourself so that you can move on to the next respective grades, so that you can integrate more elements into yourself. What is earth? Earth is as an element. I mean, yeah, we can say it's the dirt and all that, and the trees and nature, but the reality is every single physical thing that you are interacting with, that you are experiencing, that is all earth. It is the place where all of the other elements and energies come together into this plane so that we can experience life. Okay, so like really you're getting into the elements that, okay, we're getting to that right where things start to congeal right before manifestation, or right at the point of manifestation. That's what the element of earth is. So consciousness crossing the abyss. All right, so the Golden Dawn used a convention of Kabbalah called the Tree of Life. Okay, it's comprised of 10 spheres called Sephiroth, and each one of these spheres was attributed with like a plane of reality or a plane of consciousness, okay? And it started at the bottom sphere, which was Malkuth, and you would go up to Yesod, and so on and so forth. There was an imaginary line that was created that basically supposedly isolates normal human consciousness from the planes where God exists and all of that. It's a very debatable thing. A lot of magicians have claimed, that you can either cross the abyss while you're alive, or you can't. It's neither here nor there. It's pretty abstract stuff, and I really didn't mean to bring up something so abstract for this conversation, because it's not really helpful for anybody. Okay, but it's basically an idea that you have to die in order to become superhuman, super conscious type thing, to experience that. And you hear stories about people crossing the abyss, like Aleister Crowley claimed that he crossed the abyss. There have been other magicians that claim that they crossed the abyss, and the abyss is between life and death. Okay, if you've been through a true initiation, you have crossed the abyss. You have passed through the gateway of life and death. You've experienced the other side of the veil and brought back with you a changed consciousness.